Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Hot Rods by Doug. And today we're getting back on the stroller, and I'm hoping to get it done before we go down to the Somer Nites Cruise at the end of this month. So I did finally get the holes cut out for the back wheels. We still have to section the frame for the bigger tires, and we still got to get this thing painted. Today is the 8th of May, so hopefully we can get this done here real soon. I'm gonna start wet sanding on it, and then hopefully we can throw some color on it here in the next week, and then we'll start on the frame. I don't think the frame will take that long as much as it will the body, so I'm just gonna shut up and I'm gonna get you guys set up and start sanding. Well, I've been out here sanding on this thing for a little bit now. It's coming out pretty good. Got all this sanded here. It's looking pretty good. If you look down through there, kind of hard to see, but smooth. So I'm happy with the way it's turning out. A long, tedious process of trying to get it all smoothed out, get these fenders done, and then we got a little bit on the hood to do, and then just the whole front section, and then might go over the whole thing one quick time. Once we do all that, then I think we're ready to start shooting some color on it. But before we do shoot any color on it so we don't scratch it, I'm gonna cut up the frame on it, and then we'll start getting it prepped for bigger tires in the back. And I'm still looking for some wheels, so we'll have to make something to do for now. And then when we get back, we can find something more custom. But I'm gonna get back to sanding a little bit, and I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. I tell you what, I've been out here sanding for a little while now, and I think some of the hardest part is getting this line here smoothed in. But I think it's turned out pretty good. If I take this rag and do the wet rag trick, and I look down through there, that looks nice and smooth for me. I'll tell you guys, I've never done anything like this before. You know, I did the roll pan on my Suburban, but I didn't do any real body work or anything. This, you know, we did some cutting, we did a little bit of filling, some scratches, and then smoothing it out. And yeah, we're gonna rattle can this thing with some good paint, and then we'll clear it with some rattle can. I've had some good luck doing that. We'll see how it turns out. If we don't like it, we can always sand it back off later and shoot it with a gun. But I think how small it is and the color I've chosen, we should be able just to rattle can this thing. But I'm probably gonna have to quit for the day, but you guys stick around in this video because I'm hoping to have this thing finished by the time this video is done. Well, it's the next day out here, and I'm continuing sanding on this thing. As you guys could see, my plan is to have this thing fully sanded today. That way we can start working on the chassis next, and this thing will be ready to be painted as long as we don't scratch it. So once I figure out where I need to relocate the rear end, we can go ahead and start tacking that back together, and then we can start throwing some color down on this. hopefully we can have this thing all wrapped up today as far as all the sanding. I'm still waiting on the windshield to get back. I took that to one of my buddies. I told him to go ahead and just smooth it out the best he can, and then we'll worry about that once we get it back. We're gonna go ahead and paint this, and then we'll put the windshield on afterwards, where we'll paint the windshield, then put it on. I do have some things I'm gonna try with this front grille. You know, we don't actually have a grill for it, so I think I'm gonna mask it off and try to paint a grill in there, and hopefully that'll look pretty nice. This thing is looking pretty slick, and I'm real happy with how it's turning out. So we're gonna throw you guys back up on time lapse for a little bit longer. I know you guys probably get tired of watching all the time lapse, but I'm trying to knock out as much of this as I can. I have just a little bit of the front end left to do. We have some of these areas here, trying to get all in here and along this body line. And we have a couple of spots back here. And then we have the rear fender flare to finish up. And then this thing should be 100% ready to be painted. So I'm gonna throw you guys back on the tripod. I'm gonna keep sanding on this thing and see if we can't get it knocked out. Well, I think that's gonna take care of all the sanding on this thing. It was really difficult getting into some of these smaller spots. Took a little more time than I thought. So this thing is all sanded down and it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Hopefully when we lay some color down on it, it'll look nice and slick and smooth. It took quite a bit of time to get done, but we did get it done, and that's a big step. It's all sanded down now. Now we can move on to the chassis. We can start cutting it in half, tacking it back together, and then maybe next week we can start laying some color down on that. Once that's tacked together, we can pull the frame back apart. We can lay some paint down, weld that up, and then start putting the wheels and tires on it. We have interior at home for it already. It's whatever came with it when we bought it. So we just need to clean it up and put it in there. And I really think that we're gonna be done ahead of schedule, but don't hold me to it. We're gonna try to get it done as fast as we can. All right, we're back out here, still working on the stroller. The body is sitting over there waiting to be painted. And I figured now would be a good time to start on the chassis and start on the wheels for the rear. And this is what I've come up with. I've went out and bought a dog dish bowl, just a nice stainless dog dish bowl, and I have goat cart tires. And what I've done is I've had to trim this tire, but I got this dog dish bowl inside there, and I have this bearing bolted to the back. And I got this bearing from the old wheels. You can see that these old wheels have bolts and they bolt together, and that way the thing still can ride on there. So I've already done this one. This fits the tire pretty good. If you over tighten it, it pulls it in. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to fill this tire up with expandable foam, and hopefully that will allow the tire to have a little bit of stiffness to it as it rolls. And I don't think it looks too bad. I still gotta drill a center hole here and then put them both on the chassis. And then I'll have to modify this chassis. I'll have to cut this and move all this in. For the tires, we'll have to cut the axle down, but then that should be about it. I said the body is ready to go. The windshield is about done. I dropped that off at one of my buddies and he's about done with it. So it might be on before we go. I'm hoping maybe to lay some paint next week because we are 1 week away from when we're leaving. So hopefully we can get this all wrapped up and it'll all be painted and everything. So I guess I just need to get busy and get this other wheel done, and I'll show you how we did it. So as you can see, this does not fit very well in there. We need to trim this lip off a little bit. So I have this is for wallering out metal. So I thought about seeing how it works. That's not gonna work. That ain't gonna work. So now we're gonna see if we can get this side to go. I don't think they're matching tires. It doesn't really probably matter if they're matching or not. Well, that'll take care of the first layer. Now we just have to slowly get rid of little pieces by little pieces until it fits in there good. Well, that only took forever, but now that fits nice. Once you get the bolts ran through it, that'll look nice. So now we need to get this wheel disassembled. Perfect, that's what we need right there. All right. Clean this place up and we're done with all this. All right. Stick our bolts through there. I feel like this cup here fits this a little better than the other one. The other one I had a hard time keeping this from, the other one I have a hard time keeping this one from falling through, and this one fits pretty good. So I have a couple more of these tires at home. I might have to do some switching around here. All right, well, we're back out here. You can see things haven't gone as planned. We're leaving in 2 days to go down to Kentucky, and we still don't have any paint on this. Chassis still hasn't been modified, and let me show you why. You guys can see I was working on getting these wheels that I made on here, and then we were going to section this frame and tub it out to make it fit underneath this body. And this is the problem we're running into, is the wheels are just, they're not true. They're not on there perfect. They wobble too much. Could be because the holes maybe not be drilled out right, but they both do it. They're both just wobbling too much. Obviously this is sitting on a bucket. You can't really tell this thing's sitting on this bucket, but that's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work for me. I'm not happy with it. So I'm not gonna get this done in time. So it gets a little frustrating because I was on track to have it done. We still could get it painted before we left, but I don't have time to find other rear wheels. So I don't think it's gonna make it as of now. I know I procrastinated long enough trying to get this thing done, and I don't wanna rush it just to get it done and have to take it back apart, then redo some stuff. So I just hate that I'm not gonna get it done in time for the Somer Nites Cruise this weekend. But we do have another show coming up here in June we're gonna be going to. It's a local show, but it's a good turnout. So we're gonna try to have it done for that, I think. It is a little disappointing we get this close, but I'd rather it be done right the first time than have to go back and redo some stuff. We did get the windshield back from my buddy, and he did a great job on it. There's a couple little pinholes still, but this isn't supposed to be perfect. But it will look nice once it's done, because we still have to do some sanding on these corners to make this sit more flush. And then once we do that, we'll epoxy it on, put some screws in it. You know, it's a kid's stroller. It's gonna get scratched. Hopefully Knox doesn't reach up and grab a hold of that windshield and rip it off, but it could happen. So disappointing that it's not gonna be done, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So what do? You just gotta deal with it. But I think that's gonna be it for this video. I appreciate everybody that stuck around and watched this whole time just to find out we're not gonna take it. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up. While you guys are doing all that, we're gonna keep on hot rodding. See you guys later.